So I think this, what essentially we do is, Evitech Vision is, so I personally have 25 years of experience. This is our third venture. We're only into AI, where we have built a product, subscription-based product, which offers in-store retail analytics. So this is a simple illustration of any retail setup. I have taken liberty to come out with a garment setup, but it could be any retail product setup. And it starts with this footfall detection, demographic detection at the entrance of the store. And thereafter, there are different areas which we measure in terms of where visitor is spending time, how staff is actually interacting with visitor, and how those SOPs that you have defined for your staff or for a franchisee staff are they being measured, are they being followed or not. And we provide different details around it, which I'll spend some time today, and then we can all over about that and discuss about the challenges that you face, what are the issues that you feel in your company that are most relevant to you in terms of bringing consistency, relevant in terms of bringing efficiency in your operations. And we can see how we can make this work. So, just to start with, for any retail setup, right? At the entrance, we have entry gate, right? And that could be if it's a mall or if there could be multiple gates as well. So what we offer there is basic footfall count, but the specialization that we bring is we exclude staff, we exclude security guards, we exclude your suppliers. You get an accurate 95% plus accurate visitor count. Okay. I have 20 minutes there, and I'm sure we will go there because that is my bread and butter. So, in a traditional sense, we have a lot of our security guards doing a click thing, and then at times they miss out, they go for tea, they go for a break, and the whole visitor count gets missed out. Now, I'm sure. Yeah. So I heard with all my existing customers, we have heard different kind of stories around how footfall is counted and what the challenge is. Apart from the counting process, the challenge to the business in terms of how they derive conversions is where the challenge extrapolates to the business performance, right? So that's the. I mean, you have footfall counters, you have different technologies available in market today, and camera vendors are giving since last 5 years. But I haven't seen any retail setup who has actually deployed it across their stores. The reasons being how to manage security guards moving in. The security guard is stationary guard itself. So being him stationary will be counted 100 times by the normal camera because they don't understand whether it's a visitor or security guard. So that's a level of sophistication we bring in. Once the visitor is in, right, where visitor is spending time, this is something you get it very easily in your e-commerce store fronts and all, where you get every bit about where every second details about where visitors are spending time. But within your store, where you have a physical merchandise, that is a tough situation. And the store is spread across different geography, and within the store you have different product categories. So we give them merchandise product category wise well timed, where visitors are spending time, where visitors are not spending time, just to decide how you want to put up the outlet layout and all. Apart from that, especially in the franchisee-based model, our customers face a lot of issues as far as the staff performance and staff efficiency is concerned. So we provide how staff is spending time with the customer, whether staff is absent when the customer is in, how much staff spends time in interacting with customers, especially in the ethnic wear and all. There is a lot of engagement needed to close, and that's where the beauty comes in terms of how you close the sale, right? So they want to really measure how that can be improved. With all trust with the staff, it's all about how, where exactly the challenge is. And then there are cases like one of our customers in Saudi being Saudi, retail large giant having 1,200 stores, have the issue of shoplifting. Now, retail pharmacy and shoplifting ideally don't connect together. But they have a small cosmetic section, which is a high value cosmetic. And there they find a lot of shoplifting issues, and that actually crosses very high figure in terms of physical value when you talk about 12 stores. So there we have implemented shoplifting using AI, where the product is picked up and if it is dropped in the pocket, the video proof in real time is available to the billing counter and security guard, and they can personally verify it because there could be a authentic case or it is fraud case as well. So, but then the proof is available at least, so they have a chance to avoid if there is a fraud. So that is the most advanced case we have done in terms of very complicated one. And on the productivity side and loss and prevention, we take care of store open close measurements, aisle monitoring in terms of how aisle products are placed in your aisle, whether they are properly placed, visual merchandise monitoring, and all other your standard SOPs related to staff in terms of how staff is greeting with the customer, how staff is spending time around it. So it doesn't limit to the footfall. It obviously starts with the visitor count because that's the starting point, but it spreads around your store and basically monitors the visitors and your staff. And then measurements, KPIs could be very different depending upon the business you are in and what efficiencies you want to bring in the business in terms of the operational as well as improving the conversions within your store. So how do we help it, right? So as you can see, this is a table. Most of you would have a cluster of teams working because all of you are having large store setups across India and outside India as well. So typically a cluster head or a person who is managing the region or a group of clusters, they would get these kind of counts available on their mobile or in their desktop. How does it help them? Like in one of our customers, we give this hourly basis. It's a pure footfall count, accurate 95%. They use it to talk to the retail stores that are under them on an hourly basis to ensure that the conversion rates are consistent and they are able to avoid loss of conversions during the remaining part of the day. Otherwise, दूसरे दिन पता चलता है आज तो conversion कम है, you lost the opportunity any which ways. Right? So while the sale is going on, while the store is open, while the visitor is coming in, you are getting these footfall data on hourly basis and throughout your operations team, including the store manager, cluster manager, zone manager, as well as the head of the operations. And they are using this data regularly. Yesterday you had a 20% in the peak hour. Today you are getting 30% more. So are you facing any challenges in terms of staff availability? Is there a challenge of inventory availability? Those issues are discussed in real time, other than doing a post-incident analysis. So that is the difference we bring in by this data, right? And then obviously, if you have a footfall, then this data goes to the point of sale system, and that's where the value comes in because point of sale would only give you billing data, whereas we will give you footfall. Merging together gives you a conversion, which is where the actual business measurement comes in obviously. And this becomes accurate because footfall data is accurate. Billing obviously will be accurate, otherwise you will not be using the system anymore. So that's the difference. And then again, seasons vary based on sale, based on weather patterns, based on the time someone would like to spend. And that poses a challenge in terms of what kind of inventory levels you will bring in, what kind of staff you will bring in which stores. And when you have a large setup, these things matter the most because especially in terms of sizes of the different sizes and different variety that are needed. So conversion trends, as I said, peak hour, off-peak traffic, and most important, promotion campaigns returns. Like one of our customers, Sri Lifestyle, they had launched a Baisakhi sale recently in the month of October, and they used this data to understand that they had at least 12 to 13% increase in the traffic footfall compared to the last time. Now, your normal sales on the online, you very well get the returns because visitor data is available in your e-com store, right? But how would you compare your investment in outdoor campaigns? And those are again region specific, geography specific, right? So this data will help you do that. So if the footfall rates have increased after your campaign, that directly relates to some impact of the campaign that has happened, and that helps you understand the returns around the campaign. Then third is age, gender, demographics. So this again is one of the things that we have. Sketchers is using it very, very well in their company-owned stores, and now we are expanding to their franchises as well. And these we give it with 95% accuracy, gender as well as age both. So it's actually a visitor count, but segregated across gender and age both. And that all these things we do it with your existing camera. So there is no infrastructure needed at your setup, only your existing camera and our internet connectivity. And we give it everything on cloud, or it could be also in your. So this actually helps to manage your inventory, to manage your staff, because again, female customers would have a different choices, different products to be selected, different sizes to be done, and this data helps you to bring efficiency across your operations. Apart from that, these kind of outputs typically helps your visual merchandise manager to decide what are your hot zones, what are your cold zones, where visitors are spending time. So this visually would always tell the zones. Plus we give data in a normal 2x2 matrix where every product category visit time and number of visits is measured. So if you have a large category or a variety of categories in your stores, and these stores again would have a different different levels as well. Certain would be in the high street, certain would be in the malls or high value products as well. These data helps you to understand which product is picking up, or is there a changes needed in the layouts to make it more effective, to make it more easy to reach out to the visitor, to reach out to the product. Second is one of the shoe retail shoe storefront where we have captured the heat map, and you can see pretty much cold zones around. And so there are very, very specific zones where the visitors are coming in, and that brings a lot of insight in terms of how you change the layout, or how you change the moving pattern of the visitors by bringing different things. So this is a simple flow. Let's assume that you have a setup of hours, right? So you see up and down in the conversion rates, and then you double click on it, you reach to the region, and then you start understanding how shoppers are moving around the traffic. So who are your shoppers? So how many males, how many females, what is the age group, and then how they are spread across different product categories, right? So these are different product categories aggregated across all your audio stores, so you know which is your champion category. The darker one is the most visited one, the lighter one is the least visited, right? And then once the visitor part is done, it's all about how employees are engaging with the visitors in terms of how much time they are spending, whether they are complying to it. Like every dot represents the video proof. Okay? And your retail operations team do not need to waste their time in calling the store person or employee that ye hua tha, wo hua tha. They will have each other will have excuses around it. Here it is purely on data. This is again heat map of one of our grocery mart store, and you can see the difference coming in. And then all these things around how you analyze data from the density part, visitor part, throughout the region, throughout the store clusters, throughout the product categories, everything available here. This again shows about one of the longest customer interaction time in the billing counter, 45 minutes. Right? Can you imagine? Nobody would believe, even I personally would not believe that. There is a proof available, and it was eventually we found that it was because of the return goods and they are waiting for the inventory to happen. But that is something a revealing part. So this is again one of the proofs where we are, as the visitors are coming in, we are detecting age and gender. And again, this is a very, while it looks like so easy in the video proof, there are a lot of nuances to the region itself. Like if I apply this model in Middle East Africa, it would be very differently behaving. Right? We have trained it with the Indian mindset, the Indian demographics, and the people who are around there. So that's where our value comes in. So our first customer came on the second part of the second month. So we invested in our platform to build models based on the video footages which are actual in the stores. So if you have other softwares and all, they would do it with a functional domain. In case of video analytics, unless until video is not there, you are nowhere as a product. Because accuracy comes by building and training the models. And that is something we have done it very hard, spending at least 2 years of time around the Indian context. So this shows about how we are tracking the visitors and moving further. So that this covered the visitor tracking as well as the counts and how you can use it in your business in terms of getting the accurate conversions. Another part we cover is a loss and prevention. Right? The loss and prevention takes care of ensuring your CCTV camera is up and running. Because if the footage is not there, whatever loss you have happened, you don't have any ways to correct it or make it working, right? So whatever cameras we are integrating with to give you data, we give you real-time updates about to your IT team that the camera is working, not working, and the footage is around that. And if you have a warehouses or if your products are high-value products where you have a security guard also stationed during the night time, we provide guard patrolling monitoring as well. Like typically in the jewelry stores, this is extremely relevant. How to ensure that there is no theft happening at the night time. So this is the guard patrolling where every hour guard has to do the gesture. And that's where his attendance is counted. So while you define in your contract that every hour guard has to move around, but neither in our society, neither in commercial complexes, this actually happens. They come there most of the times, at least 50% of the time guard is sleeping. Come what may, you take any professional advice. But this kind of things actually automates this whole stuff. So Purana Pharmacy, one of our customers, obviously it's not in detail, but their warehouse has a high value product. So they have used it and built this small, we have given this small output. Green images tell the attendance is there, red ones tell attendance is not there. And all the attendance on a daily basis. And they night, so camera after 12. After 12, this is the data after 12 only. Daytime, sir, they don't have a chance to hide out, right? Night time is where this whole data is for the night. So, while it is a very simple issue, but most critical issue if you have a high value inventory and if you are really worried about theft that could happen around that. So, there's a small footage I'll show you, very interesting one. And especially in case of even in the small outlets, we have a small format stores which take care of some kind of issue. So you can see this, the way hand and gestures are raised. So the person has to be active. Then only attendance is counted. And another thing important is, especially in your retail outlets, if in night time your shutter gets open for some reason, let's hope it is not theft, there is some serious reason. The real-time alerts comes to your IT security staff or the security team with the proof in terms of when shutter is open, when shutter is closed. Again, when you have a large volume of stores with a franchise-based model, it's so relevant that the store is opened on time because the later it opens, you are losing that amount of visitors across for that store. So shutter open and close, similar form of data. This data is again used by Skechers very well. They have 300 odd stores and they use it to understand the store is following the discipline of on-time opening and on-time closing. So this covers the loss and prevention. Another thing that we also cover is most of you also sell products through e-commerce platforms like AJIO, Amazon, Myntra, and different platforms. Right now, when the product is shipped from your warehouse to the platform warehouse, there is a whole supply chain coming into play, and at times the product gets misplaced, product gets changed, or customer changes it and returns back in a different way. So we provide recording of every package that gets shipped, and it is attached with the order ID of that package. So when the package is shipped, the proof is given to your e-commerce platform person for every order, and then that proof remains with them. And if the customer calls to the Amazon guy that I have not received the product as per my order, we have the video proof available in terms of the product when was shipped. And when same product gets returned from the customer to the warehouse, you have a proof available in terms of what you have given them and what is returned. So this resolves day to day lot of these issues with respect to the whole tracking around the product and what is inside the package. So this also we offer. It's a pure video recording, but a bit of smartness added in terms of you getting a curated videos with respect to the order ID and the tracking. So they don't need to search around 24 hours of video, and when you are selling so many orders in a day, it is extremely difficult to identify when the problem arises, whether the package was broken or anything around the damage related to the product that is shipped. So this runs with every table where the packaging happens. So that is based on the storage, based on limit to it. But generally, we have seen our customers at least keeping the orders for 3 months till they have the policy of returns and keeping it for the compliance purposes. All right. So now comes all this technology is fine. It's all AI. I mean, AI is buzzword. A lot of things we are hearing about it. The success remains with that. That is the biggest challenge of this technology getting adopted across retail or any enterprise. The way we treat it is we provide 95% plus committed accuracy in whatever use case we give to you, not many customers that we have today. Right? And how do we achieve it? Every single count that we do, as simple as visitor count, there is a one image per count available as a proof. So your store manager, if he knows that 300 people have visited the store, he doesn't need to go through the 12 hours of video to understand whether 300 were there or 350 were. It is available in form of simple 300 images. It takes not more than 5 minutes to reconcile. And then if somebody says that, or if he is also parallelly counting by a security guard, then he can also reconcile it with the video proof. So when we start launching stores in our platform, first week we give the video proof as well as our image proof to ensure that customer end users are confident that the count is perfect, because raw video is there, so video doesn't lie. We could lie, the person who is counting could probably miss out, but video would not never do that. And then once you approve that this 95% accuracy is there, we continue with the image proofs, and that remains with you forever. So that's the difference we bring in terms of how to consistently ensure that accuracy is always there, and how to consistently give you a interface where you can come back and say that no, I'm okay with it or I'm not okay with these are the proofs. So there is no to and fro discussions happening. And all these things remain with you. If it's a cloud-based setup also, we give you as a dedicated setup. It's not accessible to us. It is dedicated to every single customer in their own way. So, lastly, it covers the areas that we are offering to all retailers, and then there are pricing models, subscription-based, software as a service-based, platform as a service. Platform as a service means that everything is running on our cloud in a data center in India. You do not need any IT or human infrastructure in your setup. Software as a service, you have a hardware in your setup, we deploy software in your setup, but we bill you on a subsequent basis. Generally, our billing happens quarterly or yearly, depending upon volume of stores and mode of engagement. These things are very flexible. Also, we offer in-premise setup. If you have IT infrastructure and all connectivity, you can get a perpetual license-based model as well. Right? So there is a complete flexibility in terms of how you would like to engage it commercially, and how, especially in a franchisee-based model, your store going out and moving in changes dynamically every month, and that's why subscription-based model works. And most of the customers pass this subscription expenses to the franchisee. So company doesn't own those expenses. Eventually, franchisee pays. So I think that's the nutshell in which we offer our AI platform to all our customers. Just to summarize USPs, the most important one, we commit 95% accuracy and we prove it via the video proof and image proof. So it's not just a commitment, it's the actual working on it. Second, you have a choice to put it on cloud, again based in India, or put it on in-premise depending upon what kind of infrastructure you have. At the store, whichever model you go, you do not need any IT infrastructure. All you need is a shared internet connectivity, which you anyways have as a part of point of sale system and your day-to-day retail operations. We work with existing IP cameras. So 2 megapixel or 4 megapixel camera is enough for us. So no additional investment needed to change the camera. There are footfall counters available in the worth of 35,000 per store. They demand you to change your dynamics of the store and they ask you for a specific area where they can fit it. Whereas in our case, because of the variety of customers that we have on board and the different angles of cameras, our model supports 6 feet distance to 10 feet distance of the camera as well as 35 degrees both side angle. So basically any kind of your layout, we would not require any change in your camera settings. It will work with the existing camera and existing camera. So that way the rollout is very fast. We recently, like in the first year, we had launched this with the Sri Lifestyle. They are ethnic wear brand in North India. They have 140 plus stores, and we completed their 90 store setup in a 1.5 month of time. Because everything was on cloud, we were activating it as they are giving us the data, and with the accuracy, and we started the billing as well. So that level of agility is supported and fluidity is supported. Alright. So I think that's all from what we wanted to share in terms of what we offer. Now I would request check with them. Yeah, boys.
The technicalities, I think Dhaval explained very well, but all of you who are here, do you really see an issue in your day-to-day operations, and how do you see this could be a solution which you could be looking at? Or maybe you must be facing this kind of problem, or you already have something installed in your system. So maybe if you can share about that, it will be good.
Like we were discussing, you had challenges, right? You will wish to share whatever issues you are facing. Or
no, I mean everything seems it's something that is required. We've also experimented and tried out on a couple of occasions in our stores, from vegan shoes. So we have a footwear store, 800 to 1,000 square feet. So a lot of the heat mapping and all is not relevant for us. But just basic store count versus business, and we're struggling with accuracy. I mean, we've done it on 2 or 3 occasions, I think, and we've just struggled with accuracy. We just don't feel that what's coming out is accurate. We're not being able to get conversion versus walk-ins right. I don't know whether it's the staff or whatever the reason, but it just doesn't seem to be accurate enough for us, to be able to implement any change. So the biggest question over here, there's no doubt it's required, but the biggest question here is accuracy. How accurate are we? And it varies from store to store as well. So it's a very hard one for us.
Yeah, I fully resonate with you. This is the biggest entry barrier. And as a team, if we can solve this, that becomes the most solved issue in your organization as well as to the vendor like us. So we are very sensitive about it. How about Gaurav? Have you seen?
So I think what we did is, I'm Gaurav from Bestseller. We run Jack and Jones, about 300 stores and a lot of shops are out of picture here because it's partner premise. But from a store perspective, I think we've had walk-in counters with errors. Let me say that as a pre-statement. Since 2014, right? But what happens is that if you have, and this is not a camera-based system, it's a single. Anybody who walks in, if I walk out, it will be counted. And then you have a place for the staff and so on and so forth. But I think there are two ways to look at it. One is what is the insight that you get. Second is what is the improvement that you get. So if I have a set of wrong data or may not be completely accurate data, but if I'm getting the same data year on year, right, then I have certain sense of accuracy saying that, listen, if I know nobody is tampering with the system, right, and last year my conversion was X, now it's X plus 2, there is some effort that goes in that direction. There's a large requirement of this, but to me, I think what is the insight that I get and what is the actionable out of it, right? That is what data should solve for me. Because having a lot of data also can be very confusing, right? So the output that is required, if I have 3 or 4 insights which the system can throw and say, listen, if this is what we've seen, right? If you correct this, this is the kind of output that you get. So based in past as well as a little bit of predictive, that solves far more things than just viewing and understanding what's happening in the software.
I think well said, and I think if this system is consistent enough in terms of the way it is working, the way it is, for a while if you forget accuracy, then the error factor actually is always continuing, and you still can understand the growth factor or degrowth factor. How about within in-store, about the staff challenges, or if it is a franchisee-based model, you have any different challenges in terms of how staff takes it?
Something that I found interesting was that you can flag the place where customer with 45 minutes of a cash cow. Sometimes we can do something with bespoke customization. So if you can buy a tie, then in front of you might be a customer who's going to follow Sherwani and wedding package. So those things, like a flag-based system, and those things are coming that would be interesting for us to figure out how we can solve those issues.
Absolutely. So this happened actually. The footage is one of our customers, and our platform was being used, and we could never think of this billing counter 45 minutes. So we shared with them. Eventually, they found that their payment gateway appliance was not working properly, and the whole replacement thing was getting on hold. But that again, the cause and effect was different, but the proof helped them focus on the actual problem, and that's where because that could be even similar problem across other stores as well. They are not aware. Yes. We come out with outliers first, because obviously we cannot 300 store setup or even 200 store setup, 300 visitors per day, so many dots. It's difficult to. It's analysis parallelism, right? But we take out the outliers, and that is something we record as a video, so that you kind of understand the trend and then take an action or conscious decision based on data.
So as I said, it's apple to apple. So when they do these food, whether it takes a lot of time, we do similar kind of business. So for us, it is accuracy, the customer time, because we primarily size store is not so we don't have that much. So your pharmacy store requirements are different. So we need to understand the analysis what the dashboard reflects according to each. So I put on the very 5-6 parameters we want critical to be. They have 10 categories. So we have footwear and maybe access like shoe and but in this case are different. Maybe time zone different. So what analysis what we need to get what is critical that has to reflect on each dashboard. So take the customer dashboard to my regional manager, my customer manager, to my operations. We do that customization. Absolutely.
And this is
Because it doesn't make sense
you could have done for somebody on yeah. So the dashboard that you have seen obviously has been done in engagement with the customer, and data So when you're analyzing video, a lot of data gets generated. Right, in terms of movement, in terms of different things around. So you don't need it. As you said, you don't need it. Absolutely don't need it.
It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
If I was in a pharmacy, where hospital is the only important area. So it is depends on Apple to Apple.
Absolutely. And like I'll tell you for sketchers, right?
It should most example of sketches. Don't take me.
Yeah, correct. It was one of the that is one of our
Very the store sizes, the
very different from.
okay.
So I take the
So Jack and Joe's rules are 2 to 3,000 PER and 2 square feet, 1,000 square feet. So the audience here is going to be
very different. Yeah, correct.
and if you have to pitch this like a large format and instead of short this then you're putting a different presentation. So this looks like a 1,000 to 3,000 square feet store.
Yes.
And you have to match it.
Yes, and I absolutely resonate with you. So one of our customers, Sri Lifestyle, they have less than 1,000 square feet format stores, and we are running around 90 stores are on our platform, and there we only do footfall because that's enough.
See, we do football, but as he said, accuracy.
Yeah, accuracy is no compromise in accuracy for them. as well. Correct. And
Technique. So he has to be easy. We learn the limits, everything.
So I absolutely sense it very well. And for even Shri also, they did not allow us to build, and we also decided that we'll achieve the accuracy. And the reason to see, one is to tell that accuracy is achieved. Right? Another is how actually you would do it on a day-to-day basis. And that's why we have automated the things. And there is an image proof. You always can reconcile. Our team also does it. Even a lighting condition change in one of your store could decrease the accuracy because AI doesn't understand light is off or on, right? There will be black faces coming in. So our team monitors it on a regular basis because it's a subscription-based model, right? And we inform teams that okay, there is some change, and they are being informed because the store manager is busy with the business. I'm sure they will not look at what is happening in the light or camera, unless there is somebody telling to them. So these things also we take care in these format stores. There's a WhatsApp group where all custom managers are connected with our support team. Absolutely.
So, obviously, take a couple of minutes of another session.
Yeah.
So we see the kind of business that we have. We have a couple of things in this. One is we are heavily deputed with the security systems, the cameras, securities in the night, in the daytime, because it's a jewelry business, and the business is spread. Right, our stores is from 3,000 to 10,000 square feet of stores.
Right.
We have on different multi-level floors. So one part of aspect is the security, the hygiene, the safety. Okay. The other part of is how do you pull up the business levers, like Gaurav said, KPIs measure karna hai, ya conversion karna hai. Okay, so that part of it, I always found that the accuracy is an issue. Okay, and when you are talking about the gender, so our business is typical. A customer would spend around 40-50 minutes an hour, 2 hours in the store while buying. It's a huge time that they spend because the ticket values are too high. Yeah. So it's a completely different set of business that we are into, and doing a heat mapping is little something as you shown a walk-in, right? Now what happens with jewelry is that 4 people will walk in at a time because they're a family.
Yes.
So the conversion ratio then is an issue because if a wedding buying happens, 4 log aate, 5 log aate ek saath. No, so I mean we always discuss that offline, but it is a very different of business that we are into and mapping those things. Okay, one is the accuracy, and Gaurav rightly mentioned that if somebody doesn't temper the algorithm or something, and if year on year you see some progression, you can always resonate with the data saying there is some improvement.
Yes.
Right, wrong, we don't know what exactly, but accuracy in our business is
little different.
Different than what you have shown here. So we probably will discuss that online.
Sure. And I think family count is relevant wherever you have these kind of products, ethnic wear or even gold and diamonds or even in similar categories. And we offer that as additional measure. And I think I have Jade Blue as a customer who there again it's ethnic wear, so family comes in. And again, there are different ways to understand family. Or if you have a mall, there would be a big store. Like in a mall setup, you have a large entrance, right? So many people can come in a second. So their family definition changes in terms of how many people you want to consider in family per second. Whereas if it's a high street store, you have a small entrance. So per store, we allow retailers to define how you would consider it as a family. A group coming in within 4 seconds, within 5 seconds, within 25 seconds, because कई जगह पे वो पार्किंग के लिए मेन्स कम लेटर ऑन राइट सो दे से दैट भाई एक साथ में 5-10 सेकंड में जितना आता उसका फैमिली कैन बिकॉज़ दैट्स अ ट्रेंड दैट वी हैव सीन फॉर सेम एंटरप्राइज इन अ डिफरेंट स्टोर इट्स कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट सो वी अलाउ दैट फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी एंड वी understand the sensitivity of business around it. Yeah, thank you so much. How about sir from time zone being a huge player in gaming?
For us, if you ask me, footfall is not a concern, luckily by God's grace. But for us, again, conversion is also not a concern because people need to take that card to play, right?
Yeah, so for us,
if you have a conversion, our conversion would usually be about 85-90%. For us, experience is very, very important. So, as you rightly said, I mean, what's the time a guest is taking on the queue? For how long is he standing on the cash queue? Right? That's very important. Do we need to put kiosks? So our Australian counterparts have 6 kiosks at each of their venues, large venues, and in India as of now we have none. So and they're a very, very costly investment. So is there a need for a kiosk? And if I give you a benchmark that if a guest is waiting for these many minutes on a Saturday or a Sunday in a queue, then I think that's the apt case for me to put a kiosk.
Absolutely.
Similarly, if I have 4-lane bowling setup and on a Thursday when I have this 99 offer after 6 p.m., there's a massive queue. And I need to understand to what extent is my guest waiting, because there could be a cause of dissatisfaction.
Yeah, quantifying the massiveness.
Yeah, right. So I think, as he rightly said, every business would have a different dynamics to look into.
Yes.
Some things may be important for them, and the other things may not be.
May not be. Yeah.
So I think, Dhaval, well, thanks for this great presentation, but a lot of customization has to be brought
in. Yeah, correct.
To be making sense, and as you rightly said, इतना WhatsApp ग्रुप बन गया है कि आप एक और नहीं ले सकते. So some intelligent way beyond which, if this crosses this threshold, then there's some kind of information
that
in
is
some way or the other to the relevant people concerned. And a summarized report, maybe on a Monday morning for us to review with our team. I think that
would make sense.
3 or 4 major parameters. So even as the Khare KPI, we say don't make it more than 4 points. 3 to 4 points has to be your Khare KPI. If you put more, then you're telling a story. It will never happen. So I think these 3 to 4 points, that's
very crucial.
And this is far becoming important because in a very clustered kind of environment which we have during weekends and all, there are also incidences that happen.
Yes.
Right? And if we are well informed about the incidents and we have 80% of the venue under CCTV footage with each area manager having the access on their mobiles to see, but I can't expect them to be on their mobiles every time.
Either they will do business or they will look at mobile.
So a flash when something is going wrong, detected by the system, I think
those are the things that matters. And I think I very well agree to that point. Essentially what we have done is we have trained our models to track people. Now that people could be staff, visitor, security guard, any kind of role, right? And we track it via head-based model. Because when you have so many of crowds, in camera, a person behind me would not be visible. So while we could understand as a human being that the person is there, but camera doesn't understand. Recording में दिखता नहीं है. But head is always visible because the person who is at the back has to still move forward, right? So you would always have a visibility clear. So that's why the models that we have built are based on the head. And that has helped us achieve good amount of accuracy in any measurement that we do. It could be a measurement of even your bowling alley where you want to understand the volume of the traffic coming during different hours to decide how much capacity you have to additionally build or change something at the staff, right? Essentially, we are doing a people tracking there with a different KPI. So those customization what we term is every model that we build is a avid bot that we try, right? And that bot has a KPI attached to it. In fact, in my person detection also, I have varieties of KPIs. It varies for even human being monitoring also, different measurements are there. So we give that flexibility, and depending upon the retail need across their segment, we allow these kind of customization upfront, and that is possible. Deepika, you may want to share something. In woman ethnic wear, where my wife is fan of your product. I'm so thankful for that.
Thank you. So see, I handle it more on the e-commerce side, so I don't really get involved much with the store operations. But what we really use the stores for is for OP support. And especially when we have this EOSS, end of season sale or the RDS sale,
Right.
we get massive dearth of support from the stores. So, they'll be like, yeah, home nahi band kar do, ya fir hum nahi karenge, ya whatever XYZ things are happening.
Yeah.
And I think, in terms of what you were mentioning, in terms of the staff efficiency, that would really help us to understand, because, I mean, our point to them is, okay, fine, we understand on weekends you'll have busy full day, but on weekdays, I don't think people are like flocking into the stores in the afternoons. You do have that spare time to attend to the e-commerce and stuff like that. So that's one thing. And the second one is in terms of handling the returns. We get like obscene number of returns which are delivered to the stores, but then they claim they haven't got it, or it isn't like this, it isn't like that, and not all of it is true. So yeah, definitely in terms of the only aspect of it to kind of smooth it really help.
Yeah, I think what I understand in nutshell is there are different operational efficiency maturity depending upon the product category all of you are offering in the retail store outlet, and the challenges are varying based on the way the processes are defined and the way the product is being sold. So again, customization is the key in terms of how you decide what you want to measure and what you want to improve. So, gentlemen, you may want to try share something on that.
My name is Ashish Bansal. I work for a company called Brandfolio. We are a Dubai-based company.
Okay.
We have a lot of international brands. We have sketches in Middle East, GCC, and all. And in
Right.
India, we have a brand called Ipanama, and we bring Ipanama, and we are bringing a lot of other brands also. The best thing what I have liked is because at present we are doing a lot of e-commerce. So we every day there are a lot of orders and a lot of returns come. So though we are working with good 3PL warehouses, but they are also unable to give us the videos. So they have to search. So that is the positive point what we personally like. Yeah. So I think, and I agree with the panel that it has to be customized. It cannot be so complex. It has to be few 2-3 parameters.
Simple,
only.
precise,
Simple,
and
precise. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
Sir, you may want to share something on your areas where you may have.
So, footwear retailer, what Rajesh was pointing out, or even what Imranji was mentioning, our area of interest beyond walk-ins can be of heat mapping if you can take care of the wall space. Because majority of footwear business comes from what is displayed on the wall, not so much on the floor.
Yes.
Can you do it as of now?
Yes. Generally, so it's a 2D view, right? So as the people are moving, we define the zones, and it could be only wall zone that we keep for monitoring, and rest we don't even measure it, right? So you can get data that way as well. If it is part of the camera footage, which I'm sure it is because surveillance is anyways in place, we can define specific zones around the walls where the measurement is happening with respect to how much time visitors are spending and how many visits have happened.
The last bit that you showed on the warehousing, right? That's a very specific use case on the table, right? And what she was mentioning, from a omni return perspective, right? When if you get a wrong product, how do you capture the order ID and how do you capture the return ID in case of a Myntra, and when it goes back, if you found a defective piece, you need to have a escalation matrix built in, right? That would be a very interesting thing to do because that part is still unsolved, right? Today we are only looking at what is the vision from a camera that I already have, right? Or in a warehouse where I have a specific area for packing, but in a store that use case doesn't exist, right? In the back room, the back rooms are very small. So if you are able to give a sort of a solution to say that, listen, whenever an Omni order comes, right, and it is getting returned or it is getting outwarded, we are able to cover the details, even if it has to be a high-res camera, right, but it can cover a far larger area in the back room, then it might be a far more stronger approach to solve a very pertinent, a particular problem which is there right now.
This case is very relevant when you have a pickup from store kind of a concept and returns getting delivered at the store, because customer wants to go to the nearest store and they want to spend less time in the transit.
So I think there is a good learning for you. You should give a pilot.
Absolutely.
3 months, then another this can be land work is
No, I absolutely agree with you. Trials.
you get age-old footwear retailers, you get internet.
No, I think I don't see you age old. Yeah, my kids and all love all your shoes. So
So you should not try 3 months का pilot दे तो हमारे समझ में आ गया तो साल भर
so I can very well resonate with you. The product like us doesn't go for the sale without trial. So we do offer trial because you have to see it. No, I acknowledge that very well. And unless until you don't see it, these things, it's a new technology. Adoption and concerns are always there from either side. Right, and we also as a vendor have to understand the camera setup. I mean, there are scenarios where analog camera hai, जिसमें footage is there just for the sake of footage. They are not using it for any purpose, right? So these things happen, and I like you talked about Gaurav, the scenario of the store, right? So interesting case where though the table was shown, right, but if you are talking about multi-product delivery in a one package. Right, so then there is a barcode kept at the table. So you scan the barcode to trigger that now you start the recording, and there are multiple products coming in. Every products get recorded under that order ID. So you have 2 times scanning happening, and then you again scan a barcode to stop the recording. So these kind of custom solutions we do even in the warehouse as well as in retail, where traditional warehouse setup, but you still handle returns and deliveries. And you still need a proof there. Yeah, they do offer. Yeah, but then these customization is where the difference is. Yeah. So in those scenarios, we offer them. Yeah, I see. Store fund mein. So I think, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it works out well. Story the channel. Absolutely, I understand your point. Pain area, yeah. Thank you so much, and it was a great interaction, lot of learnings, and I would request if anybody we'll do a follow-up with all of you, and we'll reach out to you, and we can figure out how we can take it forward. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was a pleasure.